Welcome, my friends, to the showdown between the Vampire Coast, who shall be led by a Vampire Fleet Admiral atop her mighty crab, and she's going to be wielding a pistol. And today, guys, we face off against the Greenskins, who shall be led by Skarsnik, the Warlord of 8 Peaks, coming in with a massive Greenskin Daka build. So, of course, it's going to be 5 of the Savage Orc Airboys, which are very tough to deal with, for sure. Oftentimes, Coast has to use Fellbats, Scurvy Dogs to really shut down these backline missile tools, and honestly, Savage Orc Airboys can beat all of those units in melee combat, so not necessarily the best option. So, we've had to adapt and evolve, and as such, we brought Queen Bess. So Bess is a great tool against any sort of an arrow build. If they're coming in with high elf archers from any faction, Bess is going to be able to just do tons and tons of damage. Now, Bess is a little bit risky against factions with cannons or direct fire artillery pieces that can really focus her down, but if you're able to sit and shoot against the more primitive factions like the Greenskins here, who of course, I mean, Doomdiver catapults might actually be able to snipe Bess, but that's like a pretty unorthodox pick for sure. I don't see why they would bring that against Coast in general, so Bess should be relatively safe in this matchup. So we do have Bessie to deal with mass archers. Front line's going to be zombie powered deckhand mobs, and I'm going to be trying out bombers. I'm not terribly skilled with them, but I just want to see how they do and if I can make them work. So we have 2 of them, and I figured, hey, they're going to be okay at killing chaff, obviously. Very good at killing orc boys, savage orcs, goblins, you name it. And at the end of the day, they still have 6.5k HP and are another tar pit your opponent has to get through, even if they don't get any bombs off. On top of that, we have a couple deckhand mobs in the back, some depth guard, and also we do have the Night Terrors. So the Night Terrors are going to be hiding in the trees because obviously my opponent here, the Great Arrowcrastic, is going to be wanting to come around the flanks, get on top of the Queen Bess here. So have these guys in the trees, they cause terror, they can peel really quickly in the back line. So if like Spider Riders come in or anything like that, these guys should be able to peel them off. We do also have some depth guard. Depth guard are great at buzzsawing through like cheap infantry, but a pretty big target for missile play for sure. Oftentimes depth guard just get kited and picked apart by missiles, but still you need something to stop the infantry because zombies really can't do the trick. Last but not least, we do also have the Lamprey's Revenge, and yeah, they're just a roadblock. Don't need to talk too much about that. They regenerate, they're super tanky, hard for the Greenskins to kill, and arguably just getting rid of the depth guard and bringing another crab would be better, but I think depth guard have a nice niche here. So to keep Queen Bess going, we do of course have the Fleet Admiral with the pistol, Invocation, and Raised Dead, and we do have 2 Gunnery Whites. So Gunnery Whites, you have extra powder, and yeah, they're really good at sniping as well. So going after Greenskin Lords, Black Orcs, high value targets, and giving extra powder to Queen Bess, making sure she gets that value is pretty clutch. So for Arrow's build, he does have Skarsnik, and Skarsnik's actually pretty good in this matchup. He has anti-large, he has armor piercing, very, very good at cutting through crabs, crab lords, like anything big. Morngulls, Skarsnik is going to be pretty durable there. And he also has 5k HP, which is a lot. Grimgore, I think, has like 4.2 or something. So yeah, Skarsnik definitely very, very tanky compared to the Black Orc, which is very strange. So we got Orc Boys in the front line, it looks like here in the middle. And I mean, I know the reason why is because Skarsnik's like HP is supposed to be like him and Goblet shared, but still, I mean, it's still a single entity. So front line's got to be Orc Boys, Unbreakable Night Goblins. So yeah, Orc Boys obviously shielded, so traditional powder weaponry wouldn't do too well here. He does have Skarsnik with anti-large, armor piercing, like I said. In the secondary line, this is where it gets pretty nasty. It's got 4 groups of Savage Orc Biggins, which annihilate pretty much all the infantry I can bring, and they're also really good against Morngulls, not bad against crabs with their bonus versus large. Savage Orc Biggins are very, very tough to deal with. In the back, he does have an Orc Shaman as well with Brainbuster and Fist of Gork. A ton of archers. I think he has 5 in total with a couple of Squig Herds, which is kind of cool. Like, against Depth Guard, against crabs, they bring some AP to the battlefield. And if you need to deal with, like, Scurvy Dogs or backline pressure like Fellbats, they have a bonus versus infantry and pretty good offensive stats. So I actually really like the Squig pick here by Arrowcrastic. So let's get this show on the road, guys. See how this matchup goes. So firstly, Queen Bessie's going to be shooting in. So whenever you're playing against a very solid player, for sure, you want to get Queen Bess and basically switch targets every single volley. Because if you shoot at the same target, it becomes very easy for them to dodge. So Bess getting a huge contact right there in those Savage Orcs, definitely very solid, taking them down to about 55-60% HP. Also, we're able to get some good sniping on Skarsnik here with our Gunnery Whites. They're able to get some pot shots, and we are going to be dropping a summon here. So the Zombie Pirate Gunnery Mobs, or Deckhand Mob, is going to be summoned, and hopefully we'll be able to halt the advance of these Orcs. Another shot going down to the Orc Boys there. I think I was trying to shoot the Savage Orcs, but they like crossed paths and they hit the other one. I can't quite remember how that happened, but anyways, here, Gunnery White's going to be shooting in, just going after Squigs, going after Black Orcs. Another nice shot right there hits the Savage Orc Airboys and the Squig Herd. So on top of that, we're going to be using Lamprey's Revenge to get some pot shots in the front line as well. Lamprey's Revenge do have some shotguns on their back, so they can do some work. And just like we kind of predicted here, Forest Goblin Spider Riders will be coming around the flanks, coming in to try and shut down Queen Bess, just tar pit her basically. But that's what the Night Terrors are there for, and that's what also the Depth Guard are kind of lurking in this area of the battlefield for. So we've done some pretty good damage so far. You can see we made good contact with Bessie, and here comes another shot. Oh, that's going to be a solid one right in the middle, nailing those Savage Orc Biggins. The Bombers are going to be scooting up as well, and hopefully they'll be able to get some volleys off. So here come the Night Terrors. They're going to be coming out of their forest den, ambushing here against these Forest Goblin Spider Riders, and they will be able to take them out very quickly. They just have good stats, and Spider Riders are, pretty decent in terms of defensive capabilities, but it should be pretty good for me. So bombs did go down to the front line, doing okay damage, but the Squigs were able to make contact, and now this is where my front line starts to melt very, very quickly. So it's it's kind of like a ticking time bomb. Basically, you have to be like, okay, Bess, get enough value before the Greenskins break through the front line, before they get in the door. Queen Bess right there does hit those Savage Orcs and actually breaks them instantly, which is great, which means this center pocket here is probably going to be holding pretty effectively. Now, in the meantime, Aerocraftsly getting these Orc Boys and these Savage Orc Bacons up and around the flank. Now, I do have some defensive capabilities with some deckhand mobs here, so I have to hold back this tide because when they do get to Bess, it's going to crumble because all I have is a deckhand mob with polearms. And the Knight Terrors will be okay, but not so much against the Savage Orc Bacons, which great micro right here. You can see he actually slips these guys up and around, making sure not to blob, so I have to worry about that. So another Best shot coming in. I'm basically just bombarding the front line, using my Vampire Fleet Admiral to try and snipe out the caster here, the Orc Shaman with his pistol. And the Gunnery Whites are in the front line as well, and I believe I was shooting against Skarsnik for quite some time, but he was able to kind of get mucked up in melee combat. Now Skarsnik is in his happy place. Basically, he's going to be fighting against my crabs, and he has the support of some Orc Boys and some Spider Riders with poison, so he should be able to get some okay damage on the Lamprey's Revenge. So in the back, things are getting a little bit crazy. You can see here the Savage Orc Bacons are coming back to go after Bessie. And they're going to be able to cut through these guys really quick. The deckhand mobs with Polearm certainly not the most tanky of lads. And a Vindictive Glare, I think, or a Gaze of Mort coming down here on Queen Bess. So he's just trying to get HP damage on Bess, because when the archers get onto Bess, if she's taken a lot of HP damage, it's going to be great. But the Depth Guard comes surging in, and Depth Guard are, in a way, a counter to this type of unit. Savage Orcs don't have the best AP, they have good armor, these guys have a bonus for infantry, my Depth Guard should be able to bust out through them very quickly, and you can see the Savage Orc Bacons are being torn to pieces. So in a way, even if I do lose Bess, I'm still getting pretty good value, because a lot of these units are coming back here and meeting their doom at the hand of Depth Guard and other supporting units. On this flank here, the Knight Terrors were able to clean up the pressure from the Orc Boys, and now basically they're going to be sweeping up and around the top, trying to clean up this part of the battlefield. And the Orc Shaman has been broken, but unfortunately, Arrow's done a really, really good job of getting a Savage Orc Air Boys up here, and now he can start shooting a Bess, or he was shooting a Bess, and he killed it. So Bess has fallen, the Archers were able to take it out back here, and now some more Savage Orc Bacons are coming in. Things are about to get pretty messy back here. Granted, this is a good trade for Depth Guard. They're not being kited, they are taking some missile pressure, but they should be able to trade effectively with these troops. Skarsnik, in the meantime, still hasn't done too much to the crabs, so I guess I was a little bit wrong about that. I mean, I did lose one crab here, but yeah, the Warlord of 8 Peaks certainly in a little bit of trouble. He's taking a beating himself. Wa has been popped once again, so the entire Greenskin army going to be getting a bit of a resurgence here, and the balance of power is pretty even, maybe slightly in my favor from the damage that Queen Bess has accrued over the course of this battle, but it could certainly change now that Bess is gone, and it's really going to be changing the dynamic of this battle. So down here, we still have a pit fight. We have the two Gunnery Whites fighting with the Depth Guard. The Depth Guard are crumbling, and unfortunately, my Invocation of Nehek is out of position here, so I'm not going to be able to really get back here and heal them, I don't think. Or I think maybe we get one off right now. Yeah, we were able to get it, so I was able to get my caster back. He was like kind of mucked up back here, but that Invocation is going to be quite huge. Keeping those Depth Guard going, they're up to 100 kills, and like I said, they perform super well against like Greenskin infantry, especially any troop within the Savage Orc kind of ballpark. So over here, Skarsnik is unifying with some of the goblins, and it looks like he is able to actually get the Lamprey's Revenge quite low. So Skarsnik was finally able to get some good damage on these guys. Some Forest Goblin Spider Riders applying poison, supporting fire coming in from Savage Orc Air Boys. It's all really starting to add up. So suddenly, a lot of my elite units are kind of getting crumped a little bit as these Lamprey's Revenge are going down, my Depth Guard are going down. Here you can see I do have the Knight Terrors, which is pretty big. Anything with terror is very, very solid. And it's funny, months ago when all Mourngulls caused terror, this thing would probably just be something you almost never see, but now it's like worth it alone because it causes terror, and of course against Greenskins that's very, very good because usually they go super wide against you with cheap units. So right here, the Knight Terrors are going to be trying to clean up some archers, and at this point I realized the Greenskins had a pretty big advantage in this area. They have their archers firing, they have Skarsnik, they have a bunch of infantry, so I'm going to be kind of trying to reroute my forces, taking that circuitous route, going up and around, cleaning out these guys next, going up and over here and cleaning out these guys, and just doing like kind of a big circle while also trying to juke out some of the archers, because the archers will be very good against my Mourngulls, who I believe don't have any. Well, it looks like Mourngulls have some missile resist. What is it, like 15% or something? It must be quite low. Oh, it's actually 30%. Yeah, I guess that was a thing, right? I remember that. Yeah, it's something I just kind of like, ever since Mourngulls got nerfed and in regards to their terror, you don't see them as much, so I kind of had forgotten about that. But anyways, Mourngulls going to be surging forward right here, getting some nice, wacky arm slaps here into the Savage Orc Air Boys, so should be able to massacre these guys relatively quickly. And once their frenzy's broken, they will not be immune to psychology, so at that point you can probably chase them off. So still going strong here, Vampire Fleet Admiral going after these guys, Savage Orc Air Boys. Definitely in a lot of trouble. Probably will be a matter of seconds, probably like 10 or 15 seconds before these guys break or get terror routed. They're shaken now, and now they're terror routed, so even quicker than I thought. So as far as what we both have left, I kind of just have this ugly blob. I have the Lamprey's Revenge with 7 models here. I have the Knight Terrors who have pretty much full fighting capacity. I have my Fleet Admiral, and I do also have a couple of Gunnery Whites. So the Gunnery Whites are in good shape, and they're pretty powerful combatants in melee. I mean, 38, 46, 350, really tanky, good sustainability. They also cause fear, which is nice against Greenskins. So yeah, I definitely got some stopping power there. So what I'm going to be doing here is getting my Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs, sending them in to muck up these Savage Orcs, because the Savage Orcs are sticking right on top of my Gunnery Whites with their bonus first large, and I'm actually taking a lot of damage, so I need to get those guys away for sure. Now over here we got Skarsnik coming in. He's going to be fighting the Night Terrors, which is not a situation I want. His bonus for Large is quite powerful here, but it looks like he's actually going after Lamprey's Revenge. And with that charge, him and Gobla actually do take out one of the crabs. Quite nice. And here comes some Orc Boys, the Daka from the Greenskins getting that scary surround. And this is where, even though I'm ahead on the bounce power, the late game can get a little bit scary as the Greenskins are all over the place, pulling me in different directions. You know, things start to crumble, etc., etc. So we're going to be sending in Lamprey's Revenge right here, going after these guys, but very nice play here. He pulls in the Forest Goblin Spider Riders, who have enough mass to pin them down, and Gobla's hungry, and he gets that feasting blow right there on the back of those crabs, and Lamprey's Revenge most certainly done for at this point. I have a couple left, they're crumbling, 800 HP, it's going to be a pretty quick demise for them. So I do have the 2 Gunnery Whites. I have one here, and it looks like my Vampire Fleet Admiral's trying to peel. I have gotten more powder, so I had a lot of that. I didn't really get to use it on Bess because he was able to pressure it pretty quick with his archers and get rid of Bessie, but now I have extra powder, so I can kind of pass it between my units to make sure as the game progresses I have plenty of ammo to shoot. So I'm just trying to split up my Gunnery Whites and snipe out Skarsnik, because Skarsnik, Greenskins without their leadership, they're going to be having some problems. So if I can kill Skarsnik, it's going to be leadership penalty on the whole army, and basically I just keep kind of trying to outmaneuver, go after those archer units, avoid the Savage Orcs, and just get them to army losses, so I don't really have to deal with the Savage Orcs, because sitting in sustained combat versus these Savage Orcs is not going to be a good situation. They are meaty, they're a counter against my Morngulls, they're pretty good against my crabs, not like insane, but still they have decent AP values. I mean, proportionally speaking, it's not good, but they still have some. So basically, I'm going to be running with the Night Terrors, running back into the trees. They are faster, 45 speed against 37, so I need to get away there, kite them away from the main battle to open up the pressure on Skarsnik. So Skarsnik here is not running away, and here comes the Vampire Fleet Admiral pathing through these archers. He's got the pistol, and I do think the pistol variant's really good, for sure. It already has good combat stats in melee. I don't necessarily think the halberd's worth it in a lot of situations. Just get the pistol. It's free range damage. It definitely makes a big difference at the late game. And here it comes against Skarsnik. So 354, yeah, down to 232. We're really on the hunt here. The Vampire Fleet Admiral can, of course, shoot and move. The other Fleet Admiral back here is going to be going after those Savage Orcs. And now that we've kind of, ran away from the Savage Orcs and they're chasing something else, we can pull the Night Terrors back to collapse on these archers that are now unprotected. So here come the Night Terrors here, and down goes Skarsnik. Snoresnik. Skarsnik does get sniped there by the Vampire Fleet Admiral, which is quite nice, and he should be able to beat those Orc Boys quite easily. So now that Skarsnik is gone, it's pretty much going to be army losses, as most of the Greenskin army is pretty beat up. The only thing that's really healthy are those Savage Orcs. So ultimately, we avoided fighting those Savage Orcs, which would have been very tough if we had to sit and grind with those guys. So well played to Arrow. It was a very fun game for sure, and there's a couple matchups with Vampire Coast that I have a really hard time with. I have a really hard time with these factions that could just spam a bunch of cheap archers. So the ones I've been struggling with in the past have been Greenskins, but I think Bessie was kind of like the hidden solution there. And even though her kills were only 40, she did a ton of damage and forced my opponent in, which I think was quite useful. But I've been having trouble with Greenskins. I've been having trouble with Beastmen. Beastmen is like the one matchup with Vampire Coast I really struggled to win. So I'm going to be doing my best. I believe the last time I played that was against Dov, and I just and a couple other people on ladder I played as well. And honestly, I wasn't winning any of them. It was hard. So I need to kind of rethink my strategy against Beastmen for sure. So I'll be trying to kind of theorycraft that a little bit. The other one that's tricky, obviously, any of the bow factions like High Elves can be a little bit hard, but Bessie I think is a solution in a lot of these matchups. Not so much against Beastmen, but against Greenskins it's quite good. Against the Daka builds, if you amply protect it, she's going to be able to get some good value, force your opponent in. And I really do think Luther Harkin is great in this matchup because he can actually prevent the WA, but he's also really focusable by the Daka, and your build's a little bit more narrow, so all the Greenskin missile play can really punish Luther. Whereas like with a build like this, it's pretty tanky, pretty sustainable. You have good sniping and good power in your melee characters, and yeah, I think it's pretty good. I like this build quite a bit. I'd probably cut the bombers. It's just not my forte. I don't know what I'd replace them with. Maybe some like cheapo deck droppers just to like chase things off, the ones that cost 450, just to shoot like Savage Orcs and just kind of pressure in different areas. I don't really know. I don't know. I'd have to think about it, but I probably would cut the bombers. It's not my thing. And granted, I didn't do a good job with them, but I feel like with bombers, you got to go all in, or just even a couple, it's too easy to shut down, just like a few of them, especially for missile play. Like Orc archers can outrange them. And for Arrow's build, it was really good. Honestly, it was a close game. There was a couple minor things that changed the outcome of the game for sure. But yeah, his build was really good. It's hard to deal with. I mean, Savage Orcs, like I said, counter a lot of your big monsters. The Error Boys. My brain just like, well, what are these things called? Savage Orc Error Boys, pretty good against most of your big threats, and also can shut down your missiles. And yeah, it's hard for sure, but I think Bessie was the key. Of course, the other units did well, but the only reason the Night Terrors and the Depth Guard did good was because of Bess. Is because he had to come in and try and kill Bess, at which point they were able to farm. A lot of times, if you don't bring Bessie, they can just kite you, they can play more defensively, and it's not good for sure. So yeah, got to think about that. So anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this Vampire Coast vs. Greenskin game. Make sure to check out Aerocrastic on YouTube. On YouTube, there should be a link in the comment section below. I feel like I'm just like, my brain is just not working today. I'm sorry guys, I don't know what's going on. I need coffee. I'm too weak. It can help me. So yeah, make sure to check out Aerocrastic over on YouTube, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.